Welcome to our Restore and Reset class number 3, I believe, for April. We've got one more to go this month. Thank you so much for your company, and a very special shout out to my friend Kerry, who is on the other end of this class live. And I love you heaps, Keselenko. Okay, so we're going to start off just by taking a lay of the land. So when you're ready, please just take a gentle feel into the neck and just notice how your neck has arrived with you on your mat this evening or whenever you're practicing. And just feel into that space, opening and closing the jaw, feeling into the jaw and into the tongue, and maybe taking a couple of lovely shrugs of the shoulders. Good. Moving into our first maneuver. Now, this is actually a new maneuver for me anyway. I've only just learnt it, so your patience, compassion, and tolerance is appreciated, but it's a rip snorter. All right, so we need to find our jivha bandha for this one. So please seal your tongue up against the roof of your mouth. The visual that's really helpful is 2 spoons just sitting up against one another. So we want the back of the tongue, the middle of the tongue, especially to be sitting up against the hard palate. And then open the mouth slowly so that you are creating a lovely stretch for the frenulum and that connective tissue that ties the jaw into the neck. We're taking the right thumb and just popping it underneath your left armpit, and then just wrap the 4 fingers of your right hand underneath the left armpit, and just wrap those fingers around just wherever you can get purchase there on the rib cage. And then the left hand is going to come to land on top of your right deltoid. And now cross your left leg over the top of your right and invite a little hug of your thigh bones against one another. Now keep that jivha bandha, the tongue against the roof of the mouth, opening the mouth and keeping the breath moving. As you inhale, pick up the chin, look up and lean the chest back. And as you exhale, drop the chin, let the shoulder blades separate and round forward. And this is essentially the maneuver. So just rocking back and forth on the waves of your inhales and exhales, but you've got your tongue up against the roof of the mouth and the jaw is open, stretching the frenulum, that piece of connective tissue that ties the tongue to the lower jaw. And just stay with this. Obviously, I don't have my jivha bandha because I am talking to you, but you hopefully understand the assignment, and you're inhaling to lean back and exhaling to lean forward, tongue against the roof of the mouth, jaw open nice and wide, breath moving smoothly. And you might find that you've got a little bit more range of motion now to maybe lean back a little bit more. Maybe take it forward a little bit more. Good. And then we'll change sides. So you might want to release that jivha bandha, that tongue position, as you uncross the legs. This time we're taking the left leg, crossing it over the top of the right. And we're taking the left thumb, just pop that underneath your right armpit. Right hand comes to land on the left deltoid. Find your jivha bandha again. Open the lower jaw slowly, keeping the tongue against the roof of the mouth, and just reconnect with the breath here before you start inhaling to lift the chin and lean back, and exhale to drop the chin and lean forward. And again, allow yourself to settle into a few slow, smooth waves here, back and forth. You might find that there's a little bit more space to maybe take your back bend a little bit further, and to maybe drop yourself into flexion a little bit more. And when you're ready, we'll let go of that particular maneuver and move into another one. We're going to take the right hand onto the left upper arm bone, and the left hand is just going to come around to rest on the right rib cage. And the idea here is to feel like you're using your right hand to drag yourself or twist yourself over to the right, and the chin is going to come to land on that left shoulder head. So keep your toes plugged into the earth, keep your breath moving, and the feeling is as though you are using your right hand to take both elbows and even the rib cage, twisting that over to the right, but keeping your chin just plugged down onto that left shoulder head. And of course, keeping the breath moving slowly and smoothly. You might find that you're able to drop the elbows down a little bit lower, let the shoulder blades separate so the upper back, middle back can round, and maybe twist those elbows over to the right a little bit further, keeping the chin anchored down onto the left shoulder head. And gently release that thoracic maneuver when you're ready, taking it to the other side. So the left hand is going to grab hold of your right upper arm bone, the humerus there. Right hand is going to come to rest on the rib cage, and then let yourself lean forward and use that left hand now to take yourself, twist yourself over to the left, and we're bringing the chin just to gently rest on the right shoulder head, and breathe. And keep encouraging a lovely twist, elbow points and rib cage and chest twisting to the left, but we're keeping that chin plugged down onto the right shoulder. Let the shoulder blades separate. Give your upper back permission to round a bit so that you can drop the shoulders forward. Twisting elbows to left, keeping chin on the right shoulder, and then gently releasing. Good. Just a couple more maneuvers now. Hands interlace at the back of the head, elbows wide, shoulders relaxed. Press your head against your hands and begin to tip your chin up toward the ceiling. Drop the tailbone. Keep the breath moving. You might even lift your rib cage up and out of the lumbar spine and find a little bit more of a lean back, but without compressing or dumping into the lower back. Keep the head pressing against the hands, elbows wide, shoulders relaxed. Ribs lifting free away from the lower back. And when you're ready, very gently and carefully releasing all of those components and letting the arms just drop down. Take a moment to maybe receive that. Notice how you're feeling before making your way down onto the floor. We're coming onto our backs now and crossing your right ankle over the top of your left. I'm going to ask you to really trust my verbal cues. The knees are dropping in toward the chest and shoulders. In fact, let the knees drop out quite wide and take your hands around to grab hold of the little toe sides of the feet. So your left hand has grabbed your right foot, and your right hand has grabbed your left foot. Let the knees drop out wide. Use your hands to help you to guide your knees in toward the shoulders. And what I like to do here is to quite actively pull the little toes down toward the sit bones. So I'm actually getting into the ankles here, even as I get into the hips. Now, if it's available and appropriate for you, pick your head up off the floor and tuck your chin in toward your chest. And then because the right shin is crossed on top, we're going to turn the head to the left. If it's okay with you, stay here. Keep your chin angled down toward that left shoulder. Hug the knees wide and in toward the shoulders as you pull the little toe sides of the feet down. If this is causing any tension in your head or your neck, you can leave your head on the floor. Just keep looking over to the left. And then gently release. We're changing sides now. Please cross your left shin over the top of your right. The hands will reach underneath you to take hold of the little toe sides of the feet, and try and get a nice good handle on the feet now as you pull the little toes down toward your sit bones. Let the knees drop out wide. And if it's available to you, pick up your head and tuck your chin down toward your right shoulder. So we're always looking in the opposite direction to whatever side the leg is crossed in front of. Keeping the breath moving. Again, if this is creating any strain in the head or the neck, just let your head rest on the floor, but keep looking over to the right. Keep tugging on the little toe sides of the feet. Keep hugging the knees in toward the shoulders. And then gently release the head, release the feet, and let the feet come to land on the earth. Plugging the arms down into the earth now, palms of the hands plugged down. And as you inhale, picking the hips up nice and slowly. And as you exhale in a lovely smooth wave, release the spine back down onto the mat. And again, inhale, picking up the hips. Can you create some lovely smooth waves of breath and movement through the spine? And we're just waving our way through into our supported bridge pose. Let the inhale pick the hips up, and allow the exhalation to just deliver the spine and the pelvis back down onto the mat. And stay here for a few rounds of breath. Allow your movements to just mirror the pace of the breath, so everything's slow and smooth. Good. Taking a couple more rounds on your own. And then when you're ready, crossing your right leg over the top of your left. Now it's a clean cross, so no daylight between the thighs. And let the arms just drift out in line with the shoulders, palms facing the ceiling. Now I like to plug the foot down. In this instance, it's the left foot that's pushing down, enough to lift the hips up off the mat. And then swivel over onto the outside of your left hip and let both legs just drop over to the left as you turn your head to the right. You might find that your right shoulder wants to lift up away from the mat. That's fine. Often in this shape, you need to decide whether you're going to have the legs on the floor or the shoulders on the floor. It's pretty rare that we'll have both the legs and the shoulders resting there. And if you'd like to add a little bit more spice and subtlety, you might take your left hand over onto the top of your right thigh or your right knee and just use the contact of that left hand to guide the legs across over to the left as you turn your head to the right, and let that right shoulder feel nice and heavy. Long, smooth, steady breaths. Gently release. Keep the cross of the legs as it is. And now we'll take this to an open-legged cross, a figure 4 cross. So just shifting the right ankle bone closer to the top of the left knee and making sure that that right ankle joint is really flexing. So the toes are peeling up toward the shin bone now as you take your bent right knee and press it away from the right shoulder, opening into the hip. Now, if this is enough, then honor that instinct and stay here. But if you'd like it a little bit more spicy, then you can lift the left foot off the floor. Find an interlace of fingers across the left shin bone. If your proportions don't allow for an interlace across the shin, you can take that interlace to the back of the thigh, but still guide both legs in towards you. Both ankles now are really flexing as you take your right knee and push it away from the right shoulder. Good. Sending both feet now and both legs up to the ceiling. Take the hands up with you as well. And just take a moment to be here, letting the blood gently drain from the feet and the fingers. Tongue resting against the roof of the mouth. Breath moving slowly and smoothly. Find a hug of the knees in toward the chest now. You might feel called to decompress the mid-back by lifting your chin up toward the gap between your knees. And then bring both feet back to land on the earth. And find a clean cross of your left leg over the top of the right. Press the right foot down to elevate the pelvis so that you can now swivel and land onto the outside of the right hip. Let the knees drop over to the right. Palms of the hands facing the ceiling now as you turn your head to the left. You might find that the left shoulder's lifted up off the floor. That's okay. Otherwise, if it's okay with you in your body right now, you can maybe drop that left shoulder down a little bit closer to the earth. Maybe taking the right hand over, letting it land on the outside of the left leg, even close to the left knee, as you use your right hand to create a little bit of a pull down of the knees toward the earth. Encouraging the left shoulder to feel heavy as you drop it down toward the earth. And gently releasing the legs, finding that open figured four cross now as you take the left ankle closer to the right knee and deliberately flex into that left ankle as you press the knee away from the chest toward the short edge of the mat. And this might feel like it's enough. Or you might lift your right foot off the floor, find the interlace of fingers over the shin bone or the back of the thigh, but now both ankles are really flexing, and continue to press your left knee toward the ceiling, away from the left shoulder, and breathe. All right, let the right foot come to land. Let the left foot come to land, and gently windscreen wipe the knees from side to side. Hugging both knees in toward the chest. Cross the ankles, grab hold of the outsides of the feet, pick your head up off the floor, drop your chin down toward the chest, and rock and roll yourself up nice and slowly. Taking a few nice, gentle rocks until you build up enough momentum to arrive in an upright seat, and then just flip yourself onto all fours, coming to land in neutral all fours. As you inhale, take your right hand reaching up toward the ceiling. And as you exhale, thread the right arm through. Leave the shoulder hanging off the earth. Reach the right fingers toward the left side of the room. And then again, take the right arm reaching high. And exhale, thread it through. Hovering the right shoulder, reaching the fingers actively toward the left side of the room. One more time, inhale, take that right hand up. And exhale, reach it through. We're coming to land this side, or this time rather, as much on the outside of the right shoulder as you can. And then take that left hand forward, straightening the elbow, and plug down into the palm of the left hand. Pressing the back of the right hand into the mat, the back of the right arm, keeping both of your feet really plugging down. And thinking about sending your left hip bone slightly back in space. You might find that there's a little bit more room here to maybe thread that right shoulder through a fraction further. And now noticing the contact of your right shoulder head against the mat. Can you create a feeling as though you are attempting to drag that right shoulder back away from the fingertips, spreading and creating a little bit more sensation underneath the right shoulder blade. And when you're ready, very gently making your way back to all fours. Inhale, take the right hand back up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, bring your right hand to the floor, but spin the fingers of your right hand back to face the right knee, so that as you're looking down at your hands, the fingers of the left hand are facing forward and the fingers of the right hand are pointing back toward the knees. And now find some very slow circles with the shoulders, with the hips, taking your time and allowing yourself to linger in any range of motion that feels relevant in your body, changing directions. And we'll take it into the other side now. Please find a neutral all fours. So we're spinning the fingers of the right hand back to face the top edge of the mat. Inhale, take the left arm reaching up. Take a little lean back of the chest and exhale, thread through. Leave that left shoulder hovering off the floor. Reach the fingers actively toward the right side of the room. And then inhale again. Take that left hand up. Pause at the top. Lean the chest back and then exhale, thread through. Left shoulder hovers, reaching through the fingers. One more time, inhale, take that left hand reaching high, lean the heart back. And this time as you exhale, come to land as much onto the back of the left shoulder as you can. And then reach your right arm forward. Both arms are straight. The palm of the right hand plugging down into the earth. You might find a little bit more space to scoop that left shoulder under. And once you arrive, really actively pressing the back of the left hand, the back of the left arm down into the floor as you attempt to drag your left shoulder back the way it came. It's just enough so that you feel that you are now accessing that fascia underneath the left shoulder blade, the back of the left rib cage. Both of the feet are plugging down. And on this side, we're sending the right hip crease back in space. You'll know it when you find it. Smooth, steady breaths. Please make your way gently back to all fours. And then inhale, take the left hand back up to the ceiling. And this time, as you land the left hand, land it with the fingers pointing back toward the left knee, so that as you look down at the hands, the right fingertips are facing to the top edge of the mat. The left fingertips are facing back toward the knees. And find those lovely, slow, careful circles of the shoulders and the rib cage and the hips, changing directions every once in a while so that you're working nice and evenly. Good. Coming back to neutral, all fours now. Please tuck your toes, hover your knees off the earth, and peel back into downward facing dog. Now, you might choose to work with child's pose instead of down dog, maybe even a puppy pose if you feel called to, and pedal out the heels super slowly with full attention into the back lines of the legs as the knees are bending. Come to settle in your down dog or in your child's pose. Smooth out any rough edges that you encounter anywhere along the breath. And when you're ready, come to land on your knees. Good. We're going to set ourselves up for a lovely chest and shoulder release. Now, if you've got a couple of yoga blocks or a bolster handy, you can place the blocks or the bolster underneath your elbows as you drop the elbows forward. we're up on the knees now, and just let the chest drop down. So the idea here, whether you're using your blocks or your bolster, is that the elbows are slightly elevated so that there's space for the chest to hang, and we're releasing into the shoulders. You might let your forehead drop down toward the floor, or maybe for you it's better to rest your forehead on top of your hands or within your hands so that there's no strain in the neck. And just allow yourself to settle here. You might inch the elbows a little bit further forward so that you can drop the ribs and the chest down low. And remain here for a few rounds of breath. Letting the chest drop low. Inching the elbows forward. And when you're ready, very gently moving out of that shape. Please come to arrive on your belly and on the earth. Take your fingertips wide onto the carpet or floorboards on either side of the mat so that the elbows are lifting up toward the ceiling, and let your forehead rest on the earth. Big toes touch, heels fall away from one another. And as you inhale, pick up the back of the head first, taking the eye gaze up. We're just rolling through our cobras. And as you exhale, make your way back down in a smooth wave. Again, inhale, back of the skull lifts first. Take the eyes up nice and high. And exhale to wave back down. One more time, inhale, back of the skull lifts first. We're staying lifted here for a moment. Now, as you exhale, please twist your right shoulder down toward the floor and take your eye gaze over toward the left thumb. Inhale, come back through center. Take the eyes nice and high. Exhale, twist the left shoulder down and look over toward the right thumb. Inhale, back through center. Lift the eyes. Exhale, twist the right shoulder down, looking to the left. And again, inhale, back through center. Take the eyes up. Exhale, twist your left shoulder down toward the earth. As you inhale, come back through center once more. And this time as you exhale, lower yourself calmly all the way down to the mat. Shifting your hands back alongside your rib cage. As you inhale, press yourself up to all fours. And as you exhale, drop your sit bones back toward your heels, creeping the fingers forward. So we're in an extended child's pose, but up nice and high on the fingertips. Let the forehead and the chest drop down. Let the rib cage sink between the thigh bones. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, walk your hands over to the right as far as you can. You might look toward your right elbow crease and actively send your left sit bone down toward the left heel as you wrap the left rib cage down toward the mat. Smooth, steady breaths. Left sit bone anchored. Left rib cage wrapping down. On an inhale, creep yourself carefully back through center. And as you exhale, please take yourself now over to the left, up nice and high on the fingertips. Come as far across over to the carpet or floorboards as you can. And we're looking gently toward the left elbow crease now as you wrap the right rib cage down toward the earth. Long, smooth breaths. Anchor the right sit bone. Wrap and roll the right rib cage down. Inhale, creep yourself back through center. And as you exhale, ripple your body to neutral all fours. Feel the fingerprints, the palms of the hands plugged in nicely, tuck the toes, and lift the hips, peel back into downward facing dog. Perhaps pedaling out the heels nice and slowly here. We're about to have a gentle play, in all honesty, with a sequence that's a little bit new in my repertoire. So I hope that you enjoy this one, specifically for the outer hips, the glutes, and the IT band. From your downward facing dog, inhale and lift to tiptoes. As you exhale, bend your knees deep and look forward. And now on the empty breath, pick your right foot up off the mat and take the outer edge of your right foot just behind your left wrist. And then lift the hips up high. You don't need to straighten the right leg, but we're moving it toward straight. And you'll know it when you find it. You'll feel that beautiful lengthening, that lovely spice along the ITB, the iliotibial band, along the outside of that right hip. Pick the right foot up, land it back in downward facing dog. And again, inhale, lift up onto tiptoes. Exhale, let the knees bend, look forward. And this time, pick up the left foot, land the outside of your left foot just behind your right wrist bone. And then pick the hips up, taking the front leg toward straight. It doesn't need to be pin straight. You'll feel your edge when you arrive. That lovely line down the outside of the left leg toward the outer hip. And then re-bend the left knee, pick up the foot and step back to down dog. Again, inhale, lifting to tiptoes. Exhale, knees bend deep, look forward. Pick up that right foot, land the outer edge of the foot, the little toe side of the foot, just behind the left wrist bone, and then lift the sit bones high, taking that right leg towards straight. And this time we're going to land here. Tuck your chin so the neck is long. Press the outer edge, the little toe side of that front right foot down into the mat. And I really like to connect with the right sit bone here and feel as though I'm trying to drag the right sit bone toward the back of the room. You'll feel how that just makes things a little bit more juicy. Good. Softening everything. Pick that right foot up. Step it back to down dog. As you inhale, lift to tiptoes. Exhale, knees bend deep, look forward. And this time, pick up the left foot. The little toe side of the foot lands on the mat just behind the right wrist, and lifting the sit bones, taking that front left leg toward straight. Feeling the outer edge of that front left foot plugging down. And maybe if you've got some space in your attention, feel yourself trying to drag the left sit bone back. Good. Picking up that left foot, landing in down dog. Both knees find the floor now. Stay up on the toes, sink the sit bones onto the heels, and flip up onto the end knuckles of your middle three fingers. So our very well-versed wrist and shoulder release. We're up super high on the end knuckles of the middle three fingers. The thumbs are facing one another and the midline of the mat. The pinkies are turned out to face the long edges of the mat. As you drive the wrist bones forward, let the chest sink, let the sit bones spread and drop down toward the heels, up nice and high on the toes. And when you're ready, making your way gently back to all fours before finding a comfortable cross-legged position with your right shin crossed in front of the left. If you're feeling open and enthusiastic, you might take your right leg into half lotus, or you might opt to just stay with a nice, easy cross-legged position. If the words easy and cross-legged do not sit in a sentence in your reality, then you can always pop a block. underneath your sit bones. As you elevate the pelvis, you tend to just make the shape a little bit more accessible. And we're going to drop the left ear down to the left shoulder, then twist the chin slightly toward the ceiling and stay here and breathe. Let your shoulder heads feel heavy. Let the arms feel weighted. And slowly take the head back through center. Good. Bring the back of your left hand now to hook your right knee. Fingertips of the right hand just land gently on the earth beneath or behind you, or bring that right arm in to bind. Now, inhaling, pick the rib cage up, sit nice and tall. Exhale, we're twisting to the right and just looking slightly down in the direction of the right shoulder, reconnecting with the breath. You might find on your next inhale that maybe you're able to pick the ribs up and sit a bit taller. As you exhale, maybe take that twist a little bit deeper. And release just the head. Then release the chest and shoulders. Excuse me. And change the cross of your legs now. Maybe you're working in half lotus. Maybe you're up on the block. Pause here. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, take the right ear down toward the right shoulder. And gently twist the chin just slightly up toward the ceiling. Hold here and breathe. And release the head. You might feel called to just even that out. Drop the left ear down to left shoulder. Excuse me, before taking the outside of the right hand to hook the left knee. Fingertips of the left hand land gently on the earth behind you, or bring that left arm in for a bind. Inhale, sit tall. As you exhale, we're turning to the left, angling your chin, your nose, and your eyes just gently down toward that left shoulder. And you might find that you're able on an inhalation to pick the ribs up and spread a little bit more length and space through those spinal segments before exhaling to maybe take that rotation a fraction further. Keep looking down in the direction of your left shoulder. And inhale, release the head. Exhale, release the shoulders. And for now, just leave the legs as they are. We'll bring the back of the hands to gently press against one another now, lifting the wrists up to line up more or less with the collarbones as you drop the elbows down, releasing into the wrists, into the forearms. Good, letting that go now. If you're sitting up on a block, just gently move that out from underneath the sit bones. Take the legs out in front of you, land the feet, and windscreen wipe your knees from side to side. Taking your time, moving with awareness, and feeling free, of course, to pause at any point where you feel it's relevant in your hips. Good. If you have a yoga block, please grab that now. If you have 2 yoga blocks, that's even better. And if you don't, that's also okay. You might just grab a cushion or something that allows a bit of a platform here. We're coming to land in Supta Baddha Konasana. our reclined bound angle pose, but with a little bit of variation, landing the feet on top of your blocks. 2 blocks might be a little bit too much. 1 block might be more than enough. Or maybe you don't want any blocks at all. But just maybe try it with the feet elevated here as you land the back of the shoulders on the earth, bringing your right hand to rest on your belly, and then bringing your left hand to land on your chest. Checking that the tongue is still resting up against the roof of the mouth. And becoming aware of the movement of the belly and the chest as you breathe in and out. Invite your exhalations to lengthen here. If you sense that 2 blocks is a little bit too much, you can always just pull one of the blocks out from underneath the feet. Conversely, if you're feeling really good in this shape, you could even add something else underneath the feet here. But otherwise, if you are landed and settled, let the attention drop down to the breath with long exhalations. And staying in this shape, begin to create a rhythm in your breath where you are inhaling for 4 counts and exhaling for 6 counts. Back of the head resting heavily on the earth. The knees nice and wide. Release any unnecessary gripping in the groins or the buttocks. Inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 6. Allow your mind to become nicely anchored in the count and let everything else go. There is nothing else to do. The legs weighted and heavy. Allow your thigh bones to yield to gravity. The legs heavy. Inhaling for 4 counts and exhaling for 6 counts. Notice the contact of your feet against the blocks or the bolster. Taking your feet off of the blocks and landing the soles of the feet flat on the earth. Elevate your pelvis and slide those blocks just underneath the sacrum. Take your time and as many little shuffles as you need to feel as though your little platform of blocks or the bolster are indeed really supportive and at the heart of the sacrum rather than too high up. So we want the lower back to feel nice and long rather than compressed and tight. And then send the feet up to the ceiling, coming to arrive in our Viparita Karani Dandasana. Legs lifted, pelvis elevated but supported, and creep your hands and arms away from your ears so that the neck feels nice and long. Keep a very subtle hug of your thighs against one another, just enough so that the legs don't drift away from each other. We're keeping the legs together here. And remaining with your breath count, inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 6. Another option, if you feel like your legs are very heavy, is to wrap a strap around the balls of the feet and then just hold on to either end of the strap, a little bit like the reins of a horse, just to support the legs in space. Otherwise, just let the arms drop down alongside the body and let them feel heavy. If you feel as though this shape is really nurturing, you might stay here for a few more rounds of breath. If you're ready to come out, please bend your knees back in toward the chest first, and then take your feet down onto the earth. Press into the feet to help you lift your hips up so that you can slide those blocks out from underneath the pelvis and unravel the spine back down onto the mat, maybe finding a couple of windscreen wipes of the knees from side to side. Taking your time to set yourself up for your Shavasana. Please feel free to pop on a long sleeve top. You might feel called to nestle yourself underneath a blanket. We are getting to that time of year where the weather is cooling down. You might find an eye bag and use that to gently weight the eyes. And as you arrive here on your back for your Shavasana, can you give yourself permission to sink and surrender into the support of the earth beneath you? Noticing the weight of the heels, the spread of the buttocks, and the contact of your shoulders and your skull. And this evening in our Shavasana, we're going to weave in a little bit of neuro gym, a little bit of sneaky ventral vagal work. With your eyes closed, start by just noticing the eyeballs resting behind the curtains of the eyelids. And keeping your eyes closed, gently look to the right and then back to center. And now look to the left and back to center. Look up toward your eyebrows. Keep the eyes closed And then come back to center. And now look down toward your chin and back to center. Draw 3 slow circles with your eyes to the right. 3 slow circles with your eyes to the left. And again, look slowly to the right and back to center. And now look to the left and back to center. Take your eye gaze up toward the hairline and back to center. And look down toward your chin and back to center. Draw 3 slow circles with your eyes to the right. Draw 3 slow circles with your eyes to the left. One more round. Look slowly to the right. Back to center. Look to the left. And back to center. Lift the eye gaze up to the eyebrows. Back to center. And now look down to your cheekbones. And back to center. Draw 3 slow circles to the right. Draw 3 slow circles to the left. And now nothing. Just rest. Allow yourself to become the witness to any sound that arises in the moment. Any small internal churnings or gurglings from your inner landscape. And any external noise from the household or the world around you. No reaction. Just listening. Allow your breath to deepen slightly now. And notice how your rib cage moves on the waves of the breath. Noticing especially the back of the rib cage as it moves against the earth with the rise of the inhale, the fall of the exhale. And invite some very gentle movements into your fingers and your toes. Carefully rotating now into your wrists and ankles. And taking whatever movements feel appropriate. It might be a nice yawn and a stretch, or perhaps hugging the knees into the chest. Gently swallow to lubricate your throat. And take your time to curl your way to an upright seat. As you arrive in your seat, remaining for just a moment longer with your eyes closed, with your attention directed inwards. Noticing how you have arrived here at the end of your practice, at the end of your day. Floating your palms to meet one another in front of the heart, or perhaps just resting one hand on your chest and the other against your belly. As we close our session together with gratitude and acknowledgement, extending our thanks for the gift of this day, our lives and our health, and offering our respects and acknowledgements to one another and to the custodians of this living tradition. And as always, my very sincere respect, affection, and gratitude to you. Thank you for your company, your energy. Have a wonderful, restful evening and a great week ahead. I'll see you all again next time.